Hello, and welcome back to Retry Radio. I'm Kerley, and today I have Dennis on the line.
Hello.
And also, again, Ryan.
What's up?
How's it going, guys? Well, today we are talking all about the new PlayStation Direct, also known as the State of Play. Their brand new, answer to not doing E3 and all that shit. And we're also going to talk about that new Apple event that happened for March 2019. But first, what have you guys been up to? Dennis, what you been up to, man?
So I just bought the Labo robot kit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it released at the same time as the Variety kit back when Labo launched entirely. And I haven't built it yet, but I'm extremely excited because it was discounted. So, like, one of my friends who bought the Variety kit and the robot kit for the first time, we're going to build our robot kits and we're going to be able to play versus mode. And I'm so excited for that.
Dude, that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, like just imagine like two fucking adult men just wearing cardboard backpacks,
dude,
fighting each other virtually on a Nintendo Switch. It's gonna be great.
Amazing. That sounds amazing. I have not picked up any Labo yet. This Labo VR thing has me super intrigued, dude. And the fact that the other Labo sets are like so cheap now. Like,
yeah, you should. I really recommend to anyone who has been like anyone who's ever enjoyed like building Lego or like building an IKEA furniture or something like that. Get Labo. They're so cheap right now. Get the Variety kit and just enjoy it. Like, it is so much fun.
I feel like it'd be really fun to build with Bree.
I think that you guys should stream that, by the way.
That'd be awesome. Ryan, what you been up to this week?
Working and Persona 5.
Hell yeah.
So,
how far in it are you?
Just the castle palace, I think. Is what it's called.
Is it the first pass? Yeah, okay, yeah.
The first palace.
Gotcha, cool. As for myself, I've been playing some PSVR. Finally got my updates and boopity boop computer stuff going. And let me tell you what, I fucking love PSVR. The only game that I played on it so far is Beat Saber, but that is fucking enough, dude. I've never felt more badass and looked so unbadass in my life. Like, I almost played it in front of my wife to show her, but then I was like, no, it's gonna ruin it for me. But I had a rather bad day yesterday, and like I was kind of just in a funk, and then like last night, I was just like, let me just play some Beat Saber. And let me tell you what, being a badass rave Jedi cheered me up. It took me into a better place. It's a really fucking good game. And I highly recommend it, honestly. Like, if people are like kind of skeptical about PSVR, honestly, I enjoy it. I think it's definitely worth it. And with that in mind...
How is it like... Is it like... tracking wise with do you have the Move controllers, I assume?
Yeah, I have the Move controllers, the PlayStation camera, I guess it's called, and the headset. And first off, let me just say the wires still absurd. The cables all tangled up. My desk right now is a fucking disaster from all the stuff attached. As far as like performance and technical issues, zero. Like, anytime I missed something in Beat Saber, it was either because I was moving around the room too much, like, because you feel like you're in this space that it's presenting to you, but I would move forward and backwards unpurposefully, and you can like hold a button on the remote to reset where your sender is. But the only time that I missed, I felt completely like it was my fault. I had no issues as far as the camera not picking it up.
All right.
But yeah. Speaking of PSVR, we got the State of Play, and it's legitimately exactly like a Nintendo Direct, but PlayStation. Like, it's straight up just like, here's an announcement thing, and we've got these pictures of stuff that we're going to be announcing, and boom, trailer, bam, bam, boom, boom, scuba da bop. I love the format of it. As far as the content itself, little underwhelming, if I'm being honest.
I mean, now when you have PSVR, it would have been a lot more exciting for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm very excited because of all the PSVR stuff. The fact that, okay, so the upsides to this whole thing, like top level, they're doing directs. I'm just going to call it that. Also, first off, I hate the name State of Play. It's so goddamn cheesy where it's like, oh, PlayStation, what are we going to name our Nintendo Direct? And somebody was just like, State of Play, because it's PlayStation. And they're all just like, what a wonderful idea, Charles Buckley. It's just like...
What?
I hate the name.
I completely disagree with you. I love the name.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I don't
cheesy.
think it's anything like I don't hate it.
It just comes off as
would you
like,
rather have called just PlayStation Direct?
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I agree.
Fuck Charles Buckley, okay? Fuck that guy.
But I mean,
Who is Charles Buckley?
I don't fucking know.
It fits though, right? Like it's supposed to be the state of PlayStation.
No, I know. That's what the guy who thought it was a good idea said too. But anyway,
Maybe it was me.
I love the format of it. I love the fact that that PlayStation's finally catching up to this. Like, yo, that Nintendo Direct is pretty fucking fire because it's honestly the best way to consume this kind of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love E3, I love press conferences, all that, but like. Dude, if you can just take that hour-long presentation and bubble it down into like a 25-minute just trailer after trailer thing, give me that trailer because like
and then spread it out through the entire year, not just once in July and June. I mean,
yeah, you can literally like this, for example. This is a lot of just PSVR support, which is the second reason why I'm very happy about this whole thing. Is the fact that PlayStation is doubling down on supporting PSVR. Like, that's awesome news for anybody that adopted it, such as myself. Thanks, Mort. I mean, honestly, I'm happy with it. I was happy with this state of play. I just feel like they borrowed so much from Nintendo. They left out the one key thing that makes Nintendo Direct so special, and that's just... They left out that last one more thing that would just fucking blow people's minds. Like, it basically ends on Mortal Kombat 11 with characters that we already fucking knew were going to be in the game. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, where was our... Like, it doesn't even have... They don't... They missed the point where it's just like... We've basically got to start strong, which they did. Iron Man VR.
That was dope.
That's a cool announcement. It's really cool. Nobody saw it coming. You have to end on a high note.
Yeah, I said to some of my friends beforehand that they really need to like overdo it in this first episode. Like they should have shown The Last of Us Part 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. They should have shown one of those two to really show players that this is something you should pay attention to. And then they don't necessarily have to show like really high profile stuff in every episode. But the purpose of doing it in the first episode is to show that we're not afraid to have these announcements here.
Yeah. One thing that I've been seeing going around is like people are like, yeah, I get that people set their expectations too high, and that if they end this with Last of Us 2, every episode's got to have that or whatever. And to me, I'm just like, it makes sense that, yeah, you need to have something like that in every one of these. Otherwise, people are going to not tune in. You know, if most of the PlayStation 4 owners don't have a PSVR. Like, that's just the reality of it. There's like 4 million sold out of like 70, 80 million PlayStations out there. So you come out with the first episode and it is PSVR heavy with nothing else new. Like, what is going to entice that 75 million people to come back on the next episode, you know? Like, if they're just like, oh, this is just going to be a recap on stuff that we already know, and like, you know, it's going to have the niche indies or, you know, PSVR. I feel like it's just not a good first episode to set expectations with.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Ryan, what did you think top level?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Wait, what?
What did you think of this like top level coming out of it? How did you feel?
So I just watched it recently. I didn't get to see it when it first came out, but I don't know. Like I'm excited for the VR stuff, and there are certain things that kind of that hooked me. Like Concrete Genie looks really cool, but it did seem like smaller in scale than a typical Nintendo Direct. But then again, I think this is kind of like a placeholder for PlayStation because they don't have a lot of stuff going on right now. They don't have a lot of stuff to announce. So these state of plays are like supposed to keep everybody intrigued on the smaller stuff they're working on, maybe, as opposed to like the giant announcements that people usually expect at E3 because we're not getting that this year. And I think it's people have been like playing up the fact that we're supposed to get Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us 2 this year or freaking Kojima's project, but I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyway,
Death Stranding.
They're like, Death Stranding like this year, and I think they're playing up the fact that that's not happening, and that we have to just kind of bide our time waiting on these, like with these smaller announcements with Iron Man VR and some more indie titles that are coming to PlayStation.
I do think you're right. I think that's completely fine that that's what this is, but it's still just the fact, like, come on, man, where the fuck was Dreams at? First off, like, it's early access begins in
That's a good point.
This spring, right? Like that could have been their closer. Like, imagine, like there's a trailer that you don't know what it is. They've got this awesome looking like third person game, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? And then it just stops, freezes, and somebody moves some shit around. It's just like, just something, like, you know, like. It doesn't even have to be like Last of Us 2 coming out this year, but give us like another sneak peek. Give us something.
I mean, we got Days Gone.
I mean, that needed to be there as well. But like, I'm just saying,
Days
like,
Gone had a really dope trailer. But like,
dude, the trailer is awesome. Like, don't get me wrong.
I feel like we've already seen what we need to see from Days Gone.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like they didn't have to give us like Death Stranding this massive look, but at least just give us just something, you know? Ghost of Tsushima, anything. Like it doesn't have to be dates. Like just give us a tiny snippet. That's all I'm asking for.
I mean, have they said how frequently they're planning on doing this?
All they've said is like they're doing it throughout the year.
Basically, it sounds like it's going to be like Nintendo Direct, where when they have something they need to say, they're going to have it. Which is kind of like... If they didn't, like, I know PlayStation seems like it's going to be like this year. It's like, well, why have this right now? Why did it need to be now? Are they planning on a bigger one very soon? Or, I mean, were they literally just trying to express to people, like, this is how we're going to do it. This is what it's going to be. I just feel like, why not wait until you have, like, that big, like, closing moment to really blow this thing bigger, I guess. Blow this thing bigger. I regret saying some things. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're right. Like they should have shown Dreams.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like that game is already going to have an uphill battle.
That makes so much sense.
Like, just come on, man. Media Molecule, please, Media Molecule, and PlayStation. Like, it's
PlayStation 5 launch title.
It should have been there. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let's go ahead and just do a quick little recap of everything we've shown. It opens up strong with an Iron Man game, which the cinematics look really fucking cool. Like, for a split second, I was legitimately about to lose my mind because I thought it was the Avengers trailer. Unfortunately, that's not what we got, and instead we're getting Iron Man VR, which, again, I'm excited for.
Did anybody really want?
I mean,
did anybody really want that though? Like,
if you were to
imagine being the Iron Man, that's just sounds.
If you were to ask me if that's something I wanted, I'd say yes. But looking at like the gameplay itself, they didn't show me enough to really sell me on it. No. The gameplay kind of looked a little rough to me. I mean, it looks polished and everything. It's just, it kind of...
The gameplay did not look good. That was like, so like the cinematics and like anytime you got to see Iron Man outside of like the being in the suit, it looked great. And I'm just like, where's just a fucking Iron Man game? Like, why did we just need to be virtual reality? Like, the gameplay, like when you're in the suit, just doesn't look appealing. Like it looks like you're playing like a flight simulator with like with guns and shit.
Dude, that sounds fun as hell, though. Like, if I'm being honest, that sounds better than just like if we got like a Spider-Man-esque Iron Man game, just standard.
Does it?
I mean, don't get me wrong.
No, it does not sound better.
It does not sound
Okay,
better at all.
like, let me back up.
The problem with that the footage that we saw is that it just looks so stale.
Yeah. Let me say I'd rather get that Spider-Man-esque game, but I would also rather get something unique than just the run-of-the-mill games that we always get. Like, I am happy that this is a VR title. I just wish it looked better because, like you said, it does look bland. Like, I don't know if that's just because VR games don't look good almost ever demoed or trailers. They just almost never do. But until you're actually there in the headset, like, I don't know. If they do it well, and I feel like maybe, like, if they do some more nighttime type stuff or, like, because, like, everything did look just kind of too bright and bland and nothing.
So I think the few things that they did fail in this of what we've seen so far is that, first of all, the UI inside in the gameplay, it doesn't look enough like the MCU Iron Man.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is what people want. People want to feel like they are in those shots of Tony being in the Iron Man, right? In the Iron Man armor, which is just him against a green screen with UI in front of his face. But people want to feel like they're there. And that UI didn't look anything like it. They basically all they really have to do is just change the color from yellow to blue.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know.
the second thing they need to show. I'm afraid that this is going to be just like a shooting gallery that is Iron Man themed, while this should be a game focusing on really awesome fluid flying mechanics.
Yeah.
And allow you to just fly around in like New York or Los Angeles or something, a city that Iron Man has been in. That is what the game should be focusing on.
See, but right there,
it just looks like they're trying to focus on just bland shooting galleries.
Right there, what you said is the game that I want. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's what this is, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
And I also think the voice actor for Tony Stark is a bit off. He doesn't obviously they shouldn't be. I mean, obviously the best thing would be if they had
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah,
but that's not going to happen. But I don't know. His voice just didn't sound right.
Yeah, I agree.
To me.
In that defense, though, I feel like anybody who isn't Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to sound right after 10 years of listening.
Yeah,
I mean, you could easily find somebody that can impersonate his voice better than that guy did, though. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're obviously doing their own take on Iron Man, which might be to his detriment. Probably will be.
This should be just straight at MCU Iron Man.
I'll be down for that.
Yeah.
And what they could have done, which would have been awesome, really, is if they could have had Robert Downey Jr. as a small role, and the game is really just about him tutoring the next Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then that means that you are you in the Iron Man suit, and
that would be cool.
And then you have an actor who's plays Friday talking to you.
Yeah.
And that means they could have had Robert Downey Jr. in a very minor role on the side, who just kind of introduces everything to you or something like that.
That's a good game right there.
Not even have Robert Downey Jr. and just have someone who sounds kind of like him, but you just get the sense of that, and then you won't be like annoyed by the fact that he doesn't sound like him for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Quick question: do you guys think there's a possibility that this crosses over with Spider-Man?
I hope not.
I do think there's a possibility, but I don't think so.
Dude, that would have sent this trailer over the edge for me. If they just showed like Spider-Man swinging it, that would have been fucking awesome. I'm just saying. Let's move on though.
I don't think Spider-Man's gonna show up. What I thought about more is if this Iron Man is the canonical Iron Man of the Spider-Man's games universe. but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just think it would be pretty awesome, like that they actually lean into the shared universe. But anyway, going forward, we had a new trailer for Crash Team Racing, which showed off some awesome polygonal designs for the characters, and it's like got some exclusive content that they didn't really clarify, which is kind of confusing. But Crash Team Racing, we're all fucking sold on it. Like,
I can actually tell you exactly what is, because I read up about it. So the polygonal outfits are exclusive to the PS4 version of the game.
Okay.
But the new content that they were talking about, which is actually really cool, is that the game will not just feature all the content of Crash Team Racing, but it will feature all the stages and some more content from Crash Nitro Kart.
Is that exclusive to PlayStation?
No, that's on all of them.
So the Nitro Kart stuff, like I saw that they had like the battle mode and like the map, like maps I don't remember from the first one because I never played Nitro, so that makes sense then.
Yeah. So that I didn't recognize some of the things say there, but so yeah, all the stages that people didn't recognize are from Crash Nitro Kart, and the battle mode is also from Crash Nitro Kart. And they said that they have tweaked the stages and all that stuff to be more in line with the gameplay of CTR.
I mean, I'm fucking in, dude. I'm ready.
And I think this was very necessary because obviously Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a full $60 game,
right?
And this is a $40 game, but you can't release just CTR as a standalone game in today's market. It's just not realistic because that game is way smaller than Mario Kart, like way smaller than Mario Kart. Absolutely. So you need more content, and adding the content from the sequel of CTR is a really good idea. And I think this was something they had to do to just increase the amount of stuff that is in the game.
I think this is going to be fantastic. I mean, Crash Team Racing is like, I can't even say it's underrated because it has a humongous like cult following, but it is basically like Diddy Kong Racing was like the first kart racer to like do adventure stuff, and Crash Team Racing was just like, dude, we're gonna do that, but actually make it like really fucking good. And honestly, I think this game for me might actually take Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on a fucking death fucking race or something. Like I'm very interested to see how it stacks up against that in modern day. I don't know.
The one thing I miss,
I can't fucking wait.
The one thing I miss from all the gameplay that I see of this game is that Mario Kart has had tricks since Mario Kart Wii, and it just looks weird when people ride off a ramp and don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do like a
and then land.
Yeah,
like it's just so anticlimactic. It doesn't work anymore. And so yeah, that's one of these awesome game feel things in Mario Kart that I love to do. I love like tapping the jump button every time I go off a jump, and then just seeing Mario or whoever I'm playing as do like a little trick, and then you get all the effects and all that. And it just feels like something is missing when I look at gameplay of CTR. But other than that, I am very excited to play this game again because CTR was one of the few games that I actually did play on PlayStation 1 in the Crash series.
Yeah, dude. Moving on. I'm going to just kind of spitball a bunch of stuff so we can kind of get through this a little bit faster and we can kind of talk about whichever ones we're excited for. We got No Man's Sky VR support. We got Ready Set Heroes. That's I don't know what that game is. It's like a dungeon crawling looking game. Looks cool. It's like that was the first premiere of that game, I think. We got a launch date for Blood and Truth. Looks cool.
That looks really cool, by the way, and I'm really excited that someone is finally making a real, like a full size VR game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited for that. We got Observation. We got Five Nights.
Whoa, wait, hold on.
Well, I'm gonna just go through them all, and we're just gonna talk about them.
No, I think we just stop at each the one we think are interesting to talk about.
Okay.
Observation. What do you guys think about that game?
I mean, it looks fucking awesome. Like the fact that what was funny to me was like all this VR stuff, and this game looks like it'd be well suited for VR. And they didn't
but it wasn't
mention
a VR game.
I mean, was it? I don't remember them saying that it was for that one.
No, there was no VR logo.
That's what I'm saying. Is like the one game that looks like it'd be well suited for VR. Like just because it was a lot of like looking it through cameras because you are the space station. It looks very like creepy, atmospheric, like Lost in Space type of shit. And like I don't know, I'm sold on it. It looks fucking awesome.
I think I want to highlight one thing here that is an aspect that is missing from the State of Play format that is very essential to the Nintendo Direct format is that there were multiple times in this Direct where people were confused. And that is because in the Nintendo Directs, they show the trailer and then they explain the details.
Right.
And they didn't do that here. That's why people were confused about, wait, what was the new content in CTR?
Yeah.
And then people are like a little bit confused about, wait, what do you mean I'm the station?
I mean, the thing about that is like they had the robot lady. Why didn't they just have her explain it where she could have been like, CTR, Crash Team Racing. This is exclusive to PlayStation. Like they should have just had her spout off that information. They don't necessarily have to bring like Nintendo Direct, like the Ninnies Direct, where the two people bouncing off corny jokes and stuff. They don't necessarily need that.
They don't need that part, but it's just like in that screen where you see like release date and stuff like that shows up afterwards. You just need like a little bit, like just like 10, 20 seconds, something like that, of just the person, that voice, whoever was talking, just going a little bit more into detail about the things that may have been unclear in the trailer.
Yeah. But going back to Blood and Truth, since we're going to just kind of cap these as we're going, it looks like basically like a James Bond-esque game in VR, but maybe a little less like on the nose spy type thing. But like you're saying, it's a full blown game in VR. So I'm excited for it. It's the same thing as the Iron Man thing where it's like VR games, like the gameplay itself don't look good in trailers to me. Like the way that, because you only see hands holding guns, it just is off putting.
Yeah.
But until you're like there, like it just doesn't look right. But I mean, I'm excited for it. It looks to be very like narrative driven and action driven. Like I'm worried about the motion sickness because it looked like a whole lot of running, and that shit makes me queasy just thinking about. But I mean, I'm excited for that. Then we also got Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted.
That looks literally terrifying.
Yeah.
How much do you guys know about Five Nights at Freddy's?
Next to nothing.
Yeah, Brianna plays it a lot, and I don't get it, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, watching her play
you guys
it...
should watch. You don't have to play... The thing about Five Nights at Freddy's is you don't have to play it. You just have to watch game theories videos about it. But yeah, like, seeing those characters... Because Five Nights at Freddy's, up until this point, has been just pre-rendered characters that are, like, still frame.
Right.
But this is the first time that they are actually moving, and it is horrifying. Like, seeing those characters actually move, like, I can just imagine that in VR, and, like, I don't want that thing to move. They didn't move before, and that was already terrifying.
Yeah, seeing the little puppet dude, like, creeping up with his lanky ass, like, that was unsettling. Another thing, though, like when they were, like, screaming at the camera, it didn't look that scary to me because you're not in the moment, but I can imagine it's going to be fucking terrifying. But again, VR games don't look good in trailers. Like, they just don't. Then we also got Concrete Genie, the story trailer for that. That game looks fucking awesome. Like,
that's really cool.
The trailer itself, like, honestly, that
it feels like a very PlayStation 3 kind of game.
How do you mean?
Right. See that?
Like, it feels like a PlayStation 3 Sony era kind of game where
they're more experimental.
It is this weird kind of more experimental kind of game that isn't necessarily quadruple A.
Right. Dude.
And I enjoyed it. I hope they go back to that version of Sony a little bit more, because while I really love their new approach to games where they go for this, like, because usually in game development you say you either have there is like talent, money, and time, and you can pick two or something like that.
Right.
And Sony has just picked all three, which is a great approach to game development, but it takes a lot of time to do it. So,
dude, I'm excited for it. I think it got delayed, right? Or did we ever know when it was coming out?
It was fall. I don't think we knew.
Okay.
It was supposed to come out earlier this like around this time or something.
Yeah.
But it's now fall 2019.
I feel bad for everybody that was looking forward to it and it got delayed, but this is the first time I've seen the game, so I'm just like, dude, that's out this fall.
I've seen it.
I'm fucking excited. I'm stoked.
I've seen it before. So
I don't know what it is about like taking common household items and turning them into weapons that's so appealing to me, but like this game just is like right up my alley. I'm actually, it's one of my most anticipated titles of the year. So.
It jumped up for me for sure. The very last shot, or maybe not the last shot, but the shot where the creature stands up and it looks fucking Tim Burton as hell. Like, man, I was just like, dude, this is awesome. One weird thing is like the way the characters' mouths move when they're talking throws me off. Yeah, like it looks like Kingdom Hearts 1 mouth animation.
It's a little bit too. I understand that they're going for this kind of comic book, like a little bit of a hand drawn comic book, whatever style. But the mouth animation is a little bit too low frame.
Yeah, it was just.
They should increase the frame rate on that.
Yeah, it was kind of off-putting. Yeah. Like if it was maybe just exactly what you're saying, like a little more frames to it. It's just a little too lo-fi. But I'm sold. And then we got.
It could be something that they polish up before the.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
the game's put out.
They did delay it, so who knows? I mean, it to me it looks like an artistic choice. Like they chose to keep it that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I think at this point, since we are like months away from release, usually the graphical stuff is kind of set in stone at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's gonna change.
That's just one little nitpicky thing anyway. I'm still like stoked for it. But we got the Days Gone trailer that we're talking about earlier, which to be honest, I think this is the best trailer that the game has put out.
Yeah.
Like
it was just extremely cool. The music, everything was put together to show off this really cool game. And they showed like a lot of scenes and like story points that makes you think like, this is like this open world game. Like, how do we get to that point? You know? Yeah. And I was just constantly like, ooh, like there's actually something to this. And I was already intrigued by the game and I was going to get it anyway. Unless it got like really bad scores, like The Order, for instance.
Right.
But this sold me on the game, definitely.
I think Ryan and I got to play it a little bit at PAX South. And up until that point, I wasn't sold. But playing it, I was just like, dude, this is like the real deal. It feels like this trailer portrayed. Like it's a really fucking AAA game. Like people are sleeping on it, and I'm hoping that this trailer turns people on. You know,
it looks really good.
Do you guys think this is Sony's biggest game this year?
Hope not.
I actually think they will be releasing The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima this year.
I think so, but where? When? Like, because if you look at Sony last year, this is basically God of War.
Yeah.
Like, because God of War launched, I think, March last year? What did they...
No, wasn't it May?
I don't remember. Anyway. Oh, yeah, you might be right, yeah. Anyway, it's near that launch, and then, like, we didn't really see like too much from Sony after that point. Like what?
Yeah, it's just like the reason why I think we will be getting Last of Us fairly soon is because Naughty Dog has always taken 2 years to make their games. The only exceptions are Uncharted 4, where the reason why that game took, was it 3-4 years? It's because they fired Amy Hennig halfway through, and they had to like remake a lot of the game, and they still hit like a fairly short development time, and then which also The Lost Legacy, which took less than a year, but that was reusing a lot of stuff from Uncharted.
Yeah.
So I think unless they were given the opportunity to have more time and be able to not crunch through their games, which they have usually been doing, they should be releasing it soon.
I as much as I want Last of Us 2 this year, I kind of like the poeticness of like making it one of the last games that comes out for the PS4 before the PS5 comes out, the way that the first one did for the PS3, because it's like it's the Last of Us kind of thing. I think I've talked to you about that before, Kerley.
That's why you like the name State of Play, you fuck. Get that shit out of here. No one gives a fuck. Give me that game this year. Like, come on, man. I don't give a shit about that.
I'd rather go. I think I'd rather go to Tsushima this year.
Yeah. Also, like Ghost of Tsushima has been in development since they released Infamous First Light.
Yeah.
Which was a long time ago at this point. So I could see Ghost of Tsushima being like a September game.
It just seems
like Spider-Man was.
It just seems so strange that yeah, that's right. They need to fill a spot for like the Spider-Man slot, basically, which I thought was going to be Dreams, but I think that's going to be spring. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I still
think Death Stranding is the most likely of the three to come out.
I think you're crazy. I don't think that game.
I think Kojima does whatever the fuck he wants.
Exactly. And, that's why it's not coming out this year.
Yeah, Death Stranding is not coming for a while.
I feel like that game might be, like you're saying, that's going to be The Last of Us. You know, I think.
I hate you. Don't steal my thing.
Good. Anyway, I don't know. It's a big fucking question mark that I wish Sony would hurry up and answer. Like, what are y'all doing this year, man? What are y'all, like, the fact that we didn't even see Dreams in this, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, don't get me wrong.
Just go back and make Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just be having to, like, swallow the pill of maybe this just isn't Sony's year for big announcements. You know,
I mean,
like, I don't get what they're doing with Dreams. Like, they take so long, and then suddenly just hear this story, like, oh yeah, we just made GarageBand in Dreams. Like, why is that a priority? Like, why are you doing this? Just make the game.
Dude, it's going to be extremely valuable to the game, though. I keep saying, dude, we're going to do a Dreams podcast. We're going to. All right. Anyway, we got a new trailer for Mortal Kombat 11 as the stinger. It was a good trailer. Don't get me wrong. I still don't understand why they mix Mortal Kombat with so much hip-hop. Like, the past two games have been just like...
I mean, that made the trailer really hype, though.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
100%. I meant more like Mortal Kombat 10 for some reason. Like, they just fight to the rhythm of this dude rapping. I was just like, okay, weird. But all right. This one actually fit because they make 90s jokes, and then they got, like, 90s gangster rap, basically. I mean, it was cool. It's a good trailer. The fact that people are so hyped that, like, dude, this game's gonna have Liu Kang and Johnny Cage. I'm just like, yeah. What the fuck did you expect? I don't understand.
Of course they were gonna.
I don't understand.
I don't even play
excitement.
Mortal Kombat, and I could have figured that out.
Yeah, like, I mean, every time they reveal a character, people are losing their minds, and it's just like there hasn't been a single character reveal where I'm just like, oh shit, Scorpion. I
mean.
I don't know.
For the most part, most Mortal Kombat characters have always been in their titles, so it's even if they add like different characters you haven't seen before, they're so obscure that you really don't. There's no get hype moments for a character reveal.
I mean, you say that, but people are getting hyped as fuck from Liu Kang.
I mean, that's stupid.
Like he missed one game, guys. His neck got snapped. Big fucking deal. He's back.
He was still in that game, though.
You're right. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Mortal Kombat. Man, this game's got a lot of hype built up, and I just don't know why. I don't get it. Like, I don't know.
I'm excited for it because mostly, not even from the, like, I like fighting games aspect, but, like, the games that the stories that Mortal Kombat's 9 and 10 have told have been actually pretty interesting, and I'd like to see, like, where they're going with it. Because who does these games? They do the Injustice games too, right?
Yeah, NetherRealm.
There's NetherRealm. They tell really good stories in their fighting games. Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. They're doing great things for fighting games. Like, don't think I'm talking shit because they're good games. they're all kind of, except for the story, run of the mill. Like, I don't know.
It is like Injustice and Mortal Kombat are what you said like a while back. They're the same game with a different coat of paint.
Yeah.
It's.
I'm excited, but I just feel like so many question marks state of play. So many question marks. What are you guys doing over there? What is this year going to actually look like? Because it could be like Ryan saying, y'all ain't got shit. Or y'all could be hiding some shit under your sleeves that you're going to announce like any fucking day now. Like, I'm happy that PlayStation's doing these directs. I'm excited to see more, though.
I think we were spoiled last year because there was so much over the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Really. We just maybe had to accept that, PlayStation's not going to hit a home run every year.
I mean, I am ready to accept it, but I just want them to legitimately come out and say it. Like, I know they dropped that D3, and they're kind of like, well, we don't really have enough to announce at this time. It's like, can you just tell me, like, should we just lower expectations? Just come out and just say, like, hey, this year's going to be a break for PlayStation. We got Dreams, we got Days Gone, all the other shit. Just hold your fucking pants, all right? Hold your fucking pants. Like, just tell me.
Yeah.
Quit dangling this, like,
It's a bad time to not have anything to announce too, because like Xbox is making so many moves as of late. Like,
yeah,
PlayStation really needed to do something to get their name. Like, I don't know. Like, all I hear about now is like the Game Pass coming to Switch and everything that Xbox is making moves with hiring all the new studios. And it's a bad year for them to have a down year.
I agree. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's not a good time getting ready for next gen for you to be like on the back burner.
Unless the PS5 announcement blows us away whenever that happens.
I'm so curious about that, man. I am so curious because we all kind of have a picture painted for Xbox and what Nintendo may or may not be doing with Microsoft and this new Google Stadia thing. And then PlayStation, again, question marks everywhere. Like, I hope they have a lot of surprises in store, but from what we're seeing, it just seems like PlayStation is just like, who gives a shit? We're on top right now. Just let's coast, and it's a bad thing to do because, as we've seen in other console generations, when you get cocky and coast, you end up losing next time around. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they never learn. Like, none of them ever fucking learn. I don't get it. Anyway, let's move on. Recently, we've had a new Apple event, which Dennis is going to take the reins and lead us in on some of these announcements we'll discuss.
Yeah. They had a new event, and they started it off. Did you watch the introduction video that they had on thing? Yeah. So it's like this really cool like throwback to the beginning of Apple and like everything. It basically it looks like a TV show intro, but like all the starring and the producer and all that are like aspects of like Apple. So it's like starring the Macintosh and like starring the phone that changed phones forever and all of that stuff. And it's just it was this really cool video, and it looked really cool. And it started with "Think Different," which was like the line that kind of marked the original Macintosh. So
yeah, I really liked
it. Was
that.
clear from the beginning that clear from the beginning that this was a very different show. And Tim Cook stated it early in the thing. Like he said, like Apple has always made industry-leading hardware, but also industry-leading services. And services was what this show was all about. And they announced 5 services, and we're going to talk about 3 of them while kind of skimming over 2 of them. So let me get started with the first 2 ones, which we're not going to talk very much about. The first one was Apple News Plus, which is a subscription service, monthly subscription service, available today now in US and Canada, that costs $9.99. First month is free, and this will allow you to read up to 300 magazines, as well as other digital and traditional news services that are paid, like the Wall Street Journal and Los Angeles Times. Mm-hmm. So what did you guys think about this? You who are actually in the United States and can actually get this. What's your read on it?
It's been a long time since I've had interest in magazines. I mean, I used to like the Game Informers. It's not for me. Honestly, that's honest. The answer is I don't care. Like, I hate to say that because I want magazines to still thrive because I have a lot of precious memories from like Nintendo Power, EGM, and like Game Informer, but it's just like I've moved on from that. Like I consume my news either through podcasts or just the internet. And if you're into magazines, that's really cool. But like it was kind of funny the way that the dude was straight up like, man, I absolutely love magazine stands. And then he's like, you don't have to do that shit anymore. Fuck that. Pow, 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 pow. Here's your subscription service. Not for me though.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. I don't really consume magazines. Like at all. Like every time they're more of a hindrance than anything because I get like 3 of them in the mail a month now and they just take up space in my house.
Well, now they don't, you know?
Well, now they don't. But no, I haven't read Game Informer in I don't know how long. It's like I said, like Kerley said, it sounds cool for people who enjoy reading magazines, but
Yeah.
it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I do think I don't need to read magazines either. I think I would rather read like news stories on a story by story basis. So yeah, I think this is a very niche service, and I do like that they're doing it though because there are people who, similar to how you Kerley, you're like really you like physical games and like physical music and all this stuff. So and there's definitely like a similar crowd for magazines, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I like that they're offering this, like because magazines they're going to die eventually. So this is a way to keep them alive, if they were to die. So I think
nice
this
and
is
bleak.
yeah. So I think this is pretty good for people who like to read like a magazine that was created from start to end. You know, like reading a book. One thing that is hyped though is they announced that they will be bringing Apple News to the rest of the world by the end of the year, or like at least to Europe. They said to the UK at the start, like by fall. So hopefully they will come here to Sweden, which I really want because I don't like I'm currently using Google News and it keeps suggesting like a bunch of Endgame and Star Wars Episode 9 theories, which I do not give a shit about. And I hope that Apple News might be better about it because what I've heard, one of the things that they brought up in the show is that Apple News, they handpick like stories and sources and stuff like that. So apparently that makes it so they don't support like stories don't come to you because of how many clicks and likes it got, but because of the quality of the content. So I want to try Apple News to see if I could get a better flow of stories from it. All right, so next up is Apple Card, and yes, similar to news, we're gonna keep this one short. So Apple Card is them expanding on Apple Pay by basically offering you to like I'm not like really read up on financials and stuff, so maybe Kerley, you guys could help me a little bit here, but you would basically sign up for this as a new bank service and you manage everything inside of the wallet app on your iPhone.
Right, that's basically it. Yeah, it's basically like an easier way to pay for things and easier. It's basically like a digital checkbook, you know, but with like a debit card basic system. It's connected to your bank account and all that. Again, not for me. You know, a lot of my financials are done between me and my wife, and like we trade off paying certain bills and all of this. And we kind of have a system that already works better than this would. And also, most banks nowadays have their own apps. So I don't know. It's again, like I understand people that are just so enveloped in the Apple culture that want to do this, get the fancy card and all that, but it's not for me.
Same. Don't get me wrong. I think the Apple Pay thing is really cool. Like anytime I'm working and somebody that just holds their phone up to the EDC reader on my counter, I'm just like, that was so fucking cool.
Dude, that's a fancy goose. That's a fancy goose right there.
But again, it's just, not for me.
The other thing that they announced is a physical Apple Card, which is made out of titanium, and it's
pretty fucking sick. It's pretty cool.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. It's just like, man, I don't want to give the impression that I'm a wealthy dude with this platinum card. Because I'm not. I like
That's
it.
One of the other things that is great about Apple Card is that they apply the same importance to privacy and security that they do in everything else they do. So, like the physical Apple Card, it doesn't have any numbers on it at all because everything is treated inside of the app itself.
Right.
So it means that if someone were to steal this very beautiful card from you, it is useless. They can't do anything with it, which is pretty cool.
I like that. I think the biggest like shout out I can give to Apple is like their persistence in privacy, like they did with the News Plus, they did with this what is it, card or Pay Plus, whatever it is. Everything is Plus, Apple Plus. They emphasize that if you're reading magazines, we're not giving information to advertisers. Nobody's going to know what you're reading. They really care about your privacy, which is really cool of them. You know, I'm about that. You know, I don't.
In a world
honestly,
where Google and Amazon and Facebook and all these companies just gather a bunch of data and sell it to other companies, it is really nice to have a huge company like Apple who actually seems to care about user privacy and the fact that whatever you do, secrets or not, it's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, I've given up all hope on privacy because all the services and things that I use, but I do have to like, Apple, thanks for looking out, you know? I appreciate it, but, you know, I gave up a long time ago on it all. I'm scared to look at this PlayStation camera right now because I'm just like, dude, they're watching.
Yeah. All right, so now we're getting into the three things that are more into our wheelhouse and things that we're probably might be interesting to us. So first off is Apple Arcade.
Yep.
And this is kind of like Game Pass, or pretty much just like Game Pass. So it is a subscription service, a gaming subscription service that allows you to play a selection of 100 games on your iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, or Mac computer. And this is they talked about this on stage, which was kind of which I really liked that they did. They kind of threw shade a little bit on free to play games, and said that like there are games on the store that are paid and they have a hard time selling because people don't like this upfront price tag, right?
Yeah.
So the subscription service is a way that Apple hopes can take these games that have this price tag and isn't financed by constantly gouging players, and hoping that this will allow them to create these beautiful and artistic and cool experiences, and actually make it financially viable.
Dude, let me preface this by saying I'm not a mobile gamer. I don't really tend to like playing games on my phone, but any service like this that is going to push games on mobile to be better, you know, I'm for it. Like, this is fucking awesome. Again, it's not for me, like, but I respect the shit out of what they're doing. Like, Game Pass in general is an idea and concept that I am so fucking behind. Like, I love the idea of just like, let's, you know, steal the idea of Netflix, which makes a shitload of money, and just really drive the art form forward. Like Netflix shows there's a lot of garbage, but like look at Stranger Things. That show's incredible. Like we wouldn't have shows like that if it wasn't for this model, and I think it's really awesome that they're going to be pushing mobile games forward to where maybe whenever something substantial comes out, it might turn me, onto mobile gaming. Me personally, I'd rather just bring my Switch and have my game library like that. I like to play with controllers and all that, but I know that the mobile gaming market is fucking enormous, and it's filled with a bunch of just bullshit, a bunch of gotcha games, and like this is not that. This is like real games for like, hopefully $10 a month. If you're in that atmosphere, if you're in that community of playing games on your phone, this is amazing. This is great.
Yeah. Ryan?
So you have to forgive me. I don't know much about this. I didn't get a chance to watch this, but is it the 100 games? Is it like, are they developing these games, or are these going to be games from third party?
Third party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong. This is becoming a very crowded market all of a sudden. It feels like, because I didn't not only just like video game streaming, but like streaming in general. Because like I think Walmart just announced that they're developing some kind of TV streaming service.
Jesus Christ!
And it just feels like everybody's jumping into the pot. Like
yeah.
So this sounds cool. I'll probably give Stadia a try before I give this one a try. And then again, I don't know if I'll give either a try right off the bat. I'll have to wait and see.
So that's the thing about this one is we're going to talk about more of like the Netflix and how everything is crowded. I feel like this is different. This is like a very, it's not even niche because it's fucking massive. Like mobile gaming is a different beast than what Stadia is going to be. It's different.
So is this like phone games? Like
yes.
or
this is phone.
Oh, okay. Games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But not like not gotcha games like where microtransactions. It's like real games.
No, I got you.
They're basically pushing the actual games to be at the forefront.
Yeah.
Because
one
the
of the
problem.
Things, yeah.
The problem
what I think
with,
is cool. Okay. Well, what I think is cool about this service, apart from like other services, is that this service is actually trying to push the medium of mobile games forward, because how the market is working right now is that you are encouraged to make these soulless experience that just tries to gouge players of money, and Apple doesn't like that. Apple wants the App Store to be seen as this place of amazing, cool experiences, and what Apple Arcade is doing is basically encouraging developers to create games that are amazing, that are cool, that could be considered an artistic masterpiece. While a game like Candy Crush, no one's ever going to consider that an artistic masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
My mom probably would consider it an artistic masterpiece. She's on like level like 3,000. But that's much more intriguing than why I originally thought this was. Again, forgive me because I know nothing about this.
Yeah, no problem.
But that's cool because I mean I'm not sure. I've never really, same thing as Kerley, never really gotten into mobile gaming. I don't like playing games on my phone too much. But this is a cool idea. Like especially like just 100 games for whatever the price ends up being. I'm sure it won't be too bad a month. But I'm definitely interested now. It's like, now that I know more about it,
the problem with mobile games and the reason why I don't do it is because like there's very few that are actually amazing. Like, and that's a lie. But like the curation and everything, mobile gaming just has this bad stigma because, and a lot of it comes from like, look at Mario Run. It got so much shit for being a $10 Nintendo licensed published game. And I'm just like, it's a good fucking Mario game, and people are just shitting all over it because it's a pay one time and you get the game. It's just like, why? That's how it needs to be. And like this looks like it's going to take actual games and be like, look, this is what mobile gaming can actually be. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you don't have enough acorns, pay 18 cents to get this, that, or fucking, you know, like, I'm excited, but I mean, like I said, until I see like actual games and that stigma change, I'm just gonna bring my Switch everywhere because I fucking love that thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually be surprised if Mario Run was what sparked the R&D that turned into Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Because it was a really controversial thing. Like, I'm not gonna pay $10 for a mobile game, and like even in the games industry where we pay $60 regularly for video games, people were hesitant to buy a game for $10 that was a first-party, really good Mario platformer. Yeah. Like it is if Mario Run if a Mario Run came to Switch, like people would be like, obviously I'll buy that for $10. Like I would be surprised why it wasn't more. Like So I think maybe that like controversy around the fact of buying a $10 game on the App Store maybe got Apple thinking like, wait, why aren't people open to buying a $10 game on our store? Like that would be an insulting thing, right? Like people don't think that things on our marketplace are worth $10, which is nothing.
Yeah, the same people paying hundreds of dollars a year on fucking Candy Crush. I'm just like, what the fuck? It's broken. It's broken. Fix it. And it looks like they're fixing it. Cool.
Yeah. So as for me, I don't know if I'm going to be subscribing to it, mainly because I already pay for the mobile games that I do get. So to kind of lower the need of getting another subscription service, I'm just gonna pay for the games anyway.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, mobile games aren't that expensive, so I may as well just pay for them instead.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
All right, so next up, and the last two are kind of one and the same, but we're gonna get the first one first, was Apple TV channels. So they announced 2 Apple TV products, including which was all part of this new version of the Apple TV app, which is, by the way, a really good app that you should be checking out, because basically what the Apple TV app allows you to do is that it allows you to go to the search bar in the Apple TV app and just search for any like movie or TV show, and it will show you what services it is available on.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Which is, it's really awesome. And it's funny because Nintendo actually did this before them with Nintendo TV on the Wii U.
Right.
So and that was a feature that I thought was really cool, and I'm actually happy that Apple is doing this. But yeah, so they've updated the Apple TV app, and with it comes Apple TV channels, which is a way for other services like Netflix, HBO, Amazon Prime, all the other streaming services to implement their library into the Apple TV app, so that users don't have to jump between apps constantly. So you can basically stream everything from all the services that you are subscribed to in one app.
Right. Very convenient. Very unnecessary, but convenient. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I find that the convenient to be a good thing, but at the same time, it's just like with smart TVs, you literally hit source and everything is just at the bottom of the screen, you know? I'd be interested because I've never used it or haven't seen it being used, but like in this Apple TV channel thing, say you have everything in one place. Does it still load the app from there, or is it literally like I'm gonna go from Samurai Jack on Hulu to Stranger Things on Netflix? Is it just like bam, it's playing, or is it just gonna open the Netflix app and go find it there? Or
no, it's going to play it inside the app. So, for example, if you were to buy a movie on iTunes and then open it in the TV app, it's going to play that movie in the TV app. So all of the channels, all the stuff from the other services are going to play the same way.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, that sounds
that's
awesome.
Actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
that's why I'm excited.
It's basically like Apple saying, like, this is your giant library of everything that you subscribe to, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it also just bypasses if like some fucking wannabe streaming service has like some cool content, but the video player is just trash.
Right.
Now they can just implement their library into this app, and you get this top quality Apple video player.
Right.
And yeah, as far as I understand, this is an update to Apple TV and iOS, and they will be bringing finally the Apple TV app to Mac, which is great because I'm getting really tired of iTunes. All right, so the last one was the biggest one. It took up the latter half, the latter hour of this presentation, and that is Apple's new streaming service, which is called Apple TV Plus. Are you surprised?
Absolutely. Who would have thought?
But yeah, so Apple TV Plus is a streaming service, much like Netflix, where they will offer a bunch of originals programming, and I would assume other programming as well, but they didn't mention it. So maybe it's only original programming. I don't know. But one of the coolest things that they showed is that they are hiring a lot of very high-profile people in Hollywood to create this content.
Right.
And this including,
they got that Apple money, man.
Yeah, including Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, Steven Spielberg, Jason Momoa, Steve Carell, Sesame Street, and also Jennifer Aniston was also there. So there was a lot of really high profile people. And the way did you watch how they like revealed new people on stage?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch most of this. I just recapped on it. I saw Oprah Winfrey on stage, and she was just like, "Hello." It was great. It was cool.
Yeah. One of the cool what I really liked about how they showed it is that everything turned black, and people were like waiting. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then the lights turned on, and a celebrity was on stage. So it all started with Steven Spielberg, and he announced this show of some kind of, it was like a book or something that he read as a child called Amazing Stories that his father had given to him. And basically Apple allowed him to get the IP for that. and they are making a new TV show that is kind of based on that book. So Amazing Stories is this show that it's like this anthology show, like Black Mirror, but not depressing. That is all about all about like these separated stories that are all about they're all about amazing stories, like stories of wonder and all this stuff, which Steven Spielberg kind of excels at.
Right.
So yeah, and then they also showed J.J. Abrams was there. I don't remember what his show was about. But then
20 people end up on an island, lost.
But one of the ones that they mentioned at first, and I was like, it doesn't really sound that interesting. But as they kept talking about it, I was like, oh, this actually sounds kind of cool. And that was The Morning Show, which is made by Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell. And what that is, it's about those three are news anchors at a morning show like Good Morning America, and it's not actually a morning show. It's more about like the drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I saw a little bit.
Does sound really cool.
Steve Carell's a busy man. He's got that new Netflix show going on. He's got this going on. I'm a fan of Steve Carell, so I'm all in. Let's do it.
Yeah, it sounded really cool, and they said that it was specifically going to focus a lot about the dynamics between male and females on these kinds of shows, because these shows are very famous for being kind of weird behind the scenes when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it sounds really interesting. And at first I was like, oh, they're doing a morning show? Like, why are they doing that? But then it's like, wait, it's not a morning show. It's like more of like a something that's kind of analyzes it and shows what the behind the scenes is like.
Yeah, I'm wondering the tone of it.
Way.
Yeah, is it going to be more dramatic, or is it going to be kind of comedic, or both? Like, is it going to...
I mean, it has Steve Carell, so I assume it's going to be somewhat comedic.
Dude, you'd be surprised how good of a dramatic actor he is. I don't know.
I haven't watched a lot of that, so...
Yeah,
why I thought it was comedic is because he was very comedic on stage. So
right, yeah, no, I'm with you. It's just I wondered what the tone actually is going to be of that show. I'm interested. Yeah. I do want to check it out.
And then another one that was really cool was Jason Momoa was on stage with. I recognized her, but I don't know the name of her.
Her name was My Man.
Yeah, but it was.
Shut up.
It was like a pretty high-profile female actress next to him too. So they announced a show that was called See, and it was SEE, See as in watching, like seeing. And it is in a post-apocalyptic world where all the survivors of this apocalypse turned out to be blind. So
that sucks, dude.
So basically it is set in this world that takes place like I don't remember how much further away. It was like pretty long after the apocalypse, where like in this world where nothing is built on aesthetics because people can't see anymore.
Right.
And I thought that was a really cool premise.
Man, that'd be a short-lived after apocalypse, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it would.
And
that sounds cool, though.
Yeah. Then they also showed a new kids show that is from Sesame Street, which I don't remember the name of it, but it's basically a kids show.
Sesame Street Plus.
It's a kids show teaching kids about programming.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It sounds right up my alley because I know little to nothing of programming.
I would assume since it's on Apple TV Plus that they're going to be teaching in Swift, which is Apple's programming language. I would be very surprised if they teach in anything that isn't Swift. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like, programming is definitely going to be one of these things that in a few years, like 10, 20 years, all the kids growing up are going to know programming in a way that we know math.
Yeah.
That's like fucking crazy.
That's fascinating to think about, but yeah, I could totally see that. Huh.
Yeah, because like I wouldn't say I'm like fluid in math. Like I know things, like I can do it like simple additions and stuff like that. But similarly, in like a few years, I think the kids growing up with programming, they're going to know how to make simple programs.
Right.
While people who, similar to math, are people who are way more interested and follow a passion in math, they're going to be people who similarly follow that passion into programming. And the world needs more programmers, so it is a very good thing to do.
Plus puppets, dude.
Yeah. The last show that I wanted to mention was one by Kumail Nanjiani, which is, I know him from, what's the show? Silicon Valley.
I haven't watched that. I don't know.
I think he also made, what was it? I don't remember. Anyway, he's from Pakistan. So what that show is about is, it was also going to be an anthology show based on true stories of immigrants in America. So it was called Little America, and it's going to be all about real life stories about immigrants that live in America. And he said that the reason why they're making this show is because, I mean, he didn't outright say it's like state racism, but there are a lot of people that are racist simply because they don't know any people of color, right? And this show, he's making this show basically because this allows people to see the life of a person that doesn't look like them, so that they can see that, hey, they're the person just like you, you know?
Right.
Because he wants to, when he started his speech with like saying that growing up in Pakistan, he saw all these movies of the American life, right? And when he got here to, I think he said Ohio, it was like, where are all the skyscrapers and and all this stuff. So basically, he wanted to make a show that kind of shows a realistic view of the life of multiple different immigrants and like the stories that they've done. Like, for example, one of the stories he mentioned was that of like this 13-year-old boy who his parents had this this motel, and then they got deported, but he secretly ran this motel for years as a 13-year-old, like starting as a 13-year-old boy. That sounds like a really fascinating story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one sounded pretty cool as well.
That sounds awesome.
And then they ended on Oprah Winfrey
saying that you get a subscription service. You get a subscription service.
God damn
it. And
man,
she's doing some documentaries about like how we need to learn how to communicate better because America is not doing that very well right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A lot of subscriptions. A lot of, like you said in the beginning, this was some services after services, and Jesus.
Yeah.
So to talk about what Ryan was talking about earlier, with this TV Plus, man, it is a crowded market, and we are at the tipping point where you've really got to, you either got to do like Apple's doing, like have some really interesting stuff, or you're going to sink. Like, because
for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of people that only have cable nowadays for sports. Like, people are still paying for cable because of sports, or, you know, there's a lot of reality TV trash that, you know, people still have cable on top of Netflix, and then you have to get Hulu, and then you got to get Amazon, and then now Apple TV Plus. It's just so much, like, to where it's like, you've got to make your choice. Like, what are you going to keep? What are you going to get rid of? And it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I really want to check some of this stuff out, but like my bank account's just like, bro, you got to chill.
I think the coolest thing about it though is like the more like the deeper we get into these streaming services, the more likely it is that everybody moves to streaming services, and that we just get to say fuck cable for the rest of our lives, and we could just pick what we want to watch. You know, like if you want HBO Now for a month, and you just cancel it, and then you want this new Apple TV Plus for a month. Like, it's what I've wanted from cable for so long, is you can just pick the things you want and the things you don't want, and it's on a smaller scale than the way I would have liked it. But I still say the more the merrier on this. Like, it's going to get stretched thin, and a lot of people are going to fail doing this, I feel like. But it's exciting.
Yeah, my problem is like everything is doing it. Games are doing it. TV is doing it.
Yeah, subscriptions.
Magazines are doing it.
Right. Well, I mean, there's going to be like services that are clearly better than others. Like, I don't know what the fuck Walmart is doing. Like, why the fuck that's a thing? But like the fact that Disney is doing this, I'm so excited for the idea of Disney Plus. Like, like their entire catalog of movies. They're going to put a shit ton of like MCU TV shows on there. Like, there are going to be services that we're going to get out of this that are going to be so fucking worth it. Whereas we'll have to deal with like, dumpster fire things like Walmart or I don't know. I'm sure there are more examples I can't think of. But.
I didn't even remember that Disney Plus is called that. And now,
I was thinking about the same thing. Like, there's so many pluses everywhere.
It's crazy. I'm excited for the Disney one for sure. It's just like I said, it's going to get to a point where it's like, man, am I just going to have to watch Disney and like Apple TV for the rest of my life, or I just don't know. Like it's to the point to where it's like you have your PlayStation online services, and then eventually there's going to be to a point where I got to get PlayStation Now, the Games Pass on Switch, then Netflix, then Apple.
The fortunate
TV.
thing for with that though is like for right now we at least have Netflix that still is like that central hub for like stuff that's on TV that comes to it, whereas like it's not just a bunch of original content. But I'm curious as to how long that's going to remain a thing where Netflix has everybody flocking to it as opposed to just putting out its original content. Like,
right.
How long are we going to have
Netflix has been putting
for?
out a lot of originals lately, and a lot of them are trash, from what I hear. There are so many of them there are so many of them that no one watches them. While at the beginning, like when House of Cards came out, everyone watched House of Cards.
Right.
It started out with Netflix's original series. Like they weren't missing. Like every single one of them was good, and then it's gotten oversaturated. I mean, they were bound to make bad ones at some point. But like, Daredevil was one of the first Netflix original series to come out, and it was just, it felt like an HBO series almost. Like,
yeah, that's what I meant. Also, to tie back into like how this mobile gaming thing can really move the medium forward. Like the fact that you can get like standard good television at a rated R level that's so accessible like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's really cool that like Apple's doing this because it's also going to move the medium forward. We're going to get unique shows from fucking Steven Spielberg and stuff. It's just like, man, I really like that it's driving the medium, but at the same time, there's just a tipping point where I just like, there's too much. There's so many different things doing it now. It's just,
not only that, but like it almost opens up like from a budget standpoint because you don't have to pay to have your shows put on these giant networks, and you're like for instance, like with the Disney Plus thing, they're able to get Tom Hiddleston to reprise his role as Loki. I feel like that's something that they're benefiting from, like being able to put more money into the shows, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think one thing that is like that both Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus has in common is that they are bringing Hollywood talent to the TV industry.
That's true. Yeah.
The fact that Marvel's shows will have the Hollywood actors that play their characters reprise their roles on TV is really cool, and Apple bringing huge names like Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams to TV is awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The future has come too fast. Because I'm with Ryan, like, man, there was a time when I was so much younger where I was just like, man, I wish I could just select watching Dragon Ball Z all day long and not have to watch commercials and wait till the next week and just binge watch. And that I mean, of course, isn't necessarily reality because, I don't have Crunchyroll, or that's not even on there. Anyway.
It's on Funimation.
That was a bad example. Like, if I just wanted to watch fucking The Simpsons all day long, now you can get the FX Simpsons all day long fucking app or whatever. Like, there's options to do that with.
Do you guys think
now?
Since I mean, that's kind of one thing we can mention and talk about as well. The Disney Fox deal went through. So do you think that Simpsons will be on Disney Plus?
That would be so fucking awesome.
Oh man. Holy shit. Dude, I'm in. I'm getting it. That's
shit.
You're giving me the What If Marvel series and The Simpsons. I'm gonna subscribe. Fuck you, Apple Plus. Fuck you. Shit.
God damn it.
Oh, that's a good hype moment right there.
But yeah, I think. Okay, so think about a world where Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus is out. You have all these really cool original content on Apple TV, and I assume some more content over that. Let's make that assumption for now. And you have Disney Plus with all of their stuff because Disney doesn't need any more content than their own. And let's say they also have some Fox things in there as well. You now have to pick 3 services to subscribe to. Which 3 are you doing? And this includes YouTube Premium as well if you want to have ads. No ads on YouTube.
This is not including like the gaming stuff either. This is just TV. Okay.
Just TV. And I'm including YouTube Premium into this too. So that one counts as one.
I mean, right off the bat, I have to say I'm keeping Netflix. Like, there's too much stuff that I like. I can watch The Office time and time again for the end of time. Like, they used to have all of Futurama. I wish they would bring that back. Parks and Rec, Stranger Things. Their original content doesn't appeal to me as much as it used to with the Marvel shows and stuff. But I've got to keep Netflix because there's so much on there that I find comfort food, and I just love it. This Disney streaming service seems very appealing to me. I can't say for sure because it doesn't exist technically yet. But I'm going to say that one because the idea that if The Simpsons are on here, like, I'm just, all day long. But a lot of the new stuff that they've been teasing and showing and talking up, like, that seems right fucking up my alley. And, I mean, I want to say Hulu.
DC.
I want to say Hulu, but I have to see these Apple TV shows before I say, but I mean, Here's the thing. I'm gonna let you guys in on maybe an illegal secret. I let D-Rock use my Netflix logins, and I use his Hulu logins. So we kind of trade off with our Hulu and Netflix thing. And I really like using Hulu because it has a lot of the Cartoon Network shows, and they've got some good original content. But let's just say, for example, Apple TV was just like, hey, that stuff that you watch on Netflix and that stuff that you watch on Hulu. If they grabbed a lot of that, I would very, very much consider just going one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how the rights would work with that if Parks and Rec and The Office can be on both. But, I mean, I don't know. It could very well possibly be that, like Ryan was saying, like when Stranger Things season 5 comes out or whatever years down the line, maybe I would just sign up for a month, catch that, bounce back off into Apple TV. It's such an open-ended future, like, what's going to be on the platforms. It really just boils down to that. I don't have like an actual like fanboy attachment to Netflix. It's just they have stuff that I want.
Yeah, they have a really wide library of things.
They have,
which is going to change though.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, the Marvel movies aren't going to come there once Disney Plus is working. I mean, all of the TV shows that Netflix has made are they going to stay on there even after Disney Plus is a thing? Like, are they going to have the seasons of Daredevil and Jessica Jones and stuff?
Being that Disney and Apple have Disney and Apple money, like they could very well win.
Yeah,
they can give whatever networks offers that they can't refuse, and they're just like, sorry, Netflix, they've got Apple Disney money. Like,
that's true.
I don't know. I could easily see a future where Netflix is fucked. Like,
so what were your three picks, Kerley?
Let's say Netflix, Hulu, and Disney.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
Netflix for sure, at least for the current state of Netflix. Who knows what the future will bring with that? But then Disney Plus, because Disney's fucking awesome. And then unpopular opinion, but I love the DC streaming app. I love being able to watch Teen Titans and like a shit ton of DC movies and read comic books on the app. So right now, those are my three. It's very easy. Could easily change though, depending on what is made available or what changes.
Right. I would pick Netflix because, as you guys said, as long as Netflix has this like wide library of things, like just being able to get the latest seasons of fucking Modern Family and New Girl and all this stuff, like that's all I want.
Yeah.
But then I will also have to pick Disney, because, dude, all that's like the Marvel shows. Like the Star Wars shows.
It's gonna be so cool.
Like possibly even the Marvel and Star Wars movies in the future. Like the possibility of that would be amazing.
It's gonna be so expensive.
It's
gonna be so expensive.
And then all the entire vault of Disney movies.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Like it's an insane library of stuff.
Yeah, the Disney service is very intriguing to me because it's everything that I love. It's just
it's going to take over the world. Disney is going to take over the world.
They already have. I mean, fuck.
Yeah. And then my third would have to be YouTube Premium. I watch a shit ton on YouTube. Being able to not have ads and still support the people I love by paying a subscription instead of like painting through all these ads is essential.
I don't know. The ads on YouTube have just been ingrained in that's just the way it is for me. I've never really even tried YouTube Premium. I probably should for as much YouTube as I watch and as much as I live on that platform.
And they have a selection of original content, but I haven't really watched any of it. I think I watched like one thing. Oh yeah, I watched Game Lab by Game Theory, which was pretty cool.
I always wanted to watch the Laser Team, the Rooster Teeth stuff.
Yeah, that was here too. But yeah, so and then I would probably have the HBO relationship with Apple TV, which is I subscribe to it when there's something cool.
Right.
Which is basically like I subscribe
Game
to
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Man, what a world. What a world.
But as you were saying, like it is possible that Apple TV Plus could take a similar position that Netflix has right now and just have like a variety of content. So if they were to do that, it's very possible that Apple TV Plus could replace Netflix, and Netflix would get the HBO treatment.
That's crazy to think about, that Netflix built this landscape, and man, they could so easily just get fucking clocked. Like, dude, it's bizarre to think about. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, if Apple was to get the shows that I care about on Netflix, like the shows that aren't exclusive to it, and they very well could, like I could easily be swayed if Apple's original content is as good as it looks like it's shaping up to be, you know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I live in a world financially stable enough where I can have all of them. So like the race is on, I guess. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, Disney with all the content there shaping up, like I'm gonna have to have it, like hands down. And with Netflix losing a lot of the Marvel stuff, and you know, eventually Stranger Things is going to end, I don't have that kind of attachment to it. If somebody else grabs The Office and Parks and Recs, I'm just saying.
That's it. Seems to be the consensus is that Disney Plus is going to be a big thing for a lot of people. But at least between the three of us,
all three of us have said like Disney's going to get it, and all of us said Netflix, but we all kind of like, hey, I mean.
What's the price point at which you guys would say Disney Plus wouldn't be worth it?
If it's over $20.
I think they're not going to breach 9 or 15.
I think 15's a solid place.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll
I'd
be
pay
more or
15
less.
for it. I don't know if I'd go over 20. Yeah, same.
Like 20, I would have to question. I'd be like, man, that's 20 a month. I would have to just like binge their stuff in a month and just, you know, not have it for a while. But if they get me at that $10 or $15 level, man, maybe $10 would be fucking insane. There's no way.
What is Netflix right now?
$12.99.
Yeah.
It's $14.99 if you do the multiple
right
family stuff.
Yeah.
Like multiple screens.
I could see them to like compete with Netflix, go to 10. Then possibly raise to like 12 or 15 in the future. Because I think Disney is such a huge thing that I think they would win in scale rather than in amount of money that it costs. And Nintendo, not Nintendo, Disney. Disney have so many revenue sources already that I think they could kind of go a little bit lower on the streaming service and create a success out of it.
That's a good point, because I mean, you're potentially talking hundreds of millions of subscriptions. Like, I mean, perhaps. I don't know the number of people that subscribe to Netflix, but it's high. But when you mix in Disney in the equation and what they've got cooking, I mean, you just think like, I don't know, 50 million people at $10, the amount of money. But I don't know if that's an outlandish number or not, but it seems like I wouldn't be surprised to read that many people subscribe to the Disney platform. But I'd be interested to see the numbers on like how many people are subscribed to Netflix and all that. But they could easily make up with just the amount of subscriptions with the price point. You're right. I could see that. I don't know though. What a world. What a world. Oh man. You guys have anything else you want to add or?
One just tiny detail. The Oprah documentaries will be about workplace harassment and mental health. That was one thing I wanted to mention.
Interesting.
Nice. Seems like they're doing a lot of content that is like both educational and politically standing, which is, I mean, not a bad thing. Like, seems like the Steve Carell show seems to be like maybe a knock against like, misogyny or something. I mean, that's all just kind of a stretch, and good on them for that. It seems like they're making content that really means something. It's just not churning out trash.
One thing I wanted to make the point, like with the streaming thing picking up, even more so than it already has been. Like once cable finally bites the dust, where do like the big time like networks jump to? Do you think do they all form their own streaming services, or does Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and like CBS and all these big time networks, where do they go?
I think we've seen like networks try to do their own thing, and I think like we're saying with Apple joining the mix, like there's already too many. I think they're going to have to bite the bullet and just
hop on
join, or multiple. I mean, why wouldn't Netflix, if cable didn't exist, take ABC shows just because Apple has it as well? It'd still be a plus if it lives on multiple platforms. It just depends on the Netflixes and the Apples to be like, yo, we want exclusivity. I'm sure they could make offers to those networks that they can't refuse. Like I said, they've got fucking Apple money, I don't know, though. I could see it go that way. I don't see all these networks doing their own subscriptions because, to a point where it's just like there's too many. Like, I can't, if you're like, oh, it's only $5 a month, right? But I've got, my Nintendo Online is $5 or $3 a month. I'm also paying $60 for PlayStation, $15 for Netflix. This, that, it's there's a tight. Glass ceiling, like, oh man, it's already up there for me, like to where I don't have all those subscriptions that I want, because I would have HBO and Hulu and Netflix if I could afford it, but I can't. And if Cartoon Network had theirs, I'd be like, dude, I'd love to have it, but I can't afford it. I mean, mostly for Samurai Jack and Teen Titans. I'm just saying, that'd be pretty dope. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you guys think of State of Play and what PlayStation's got planned for this year, and also this Apple subscription event. Let us know if you guys are interested in that, what your top 3 subscriptions would be, or whichever teams you would choose, if you'd be Netflix, Hulu, Disney like me, or if you'd be wrong like Ryan and want the DC bullshit one. Just let us know in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. Dennis, where can they find you if they do so, please?
You can find me on Twitter at Dennis_Lofgren. Talking all about the Apples, the Taylor Swifts, and the Nintendos.
Yeah, earlier when you were talking about programming and you're like Swift, I was like, I wonder if it's the T Swift that he's talking about. Or I was kind of
no, but I was very hyped when they announced Swift and like, oh, it's called Swift.
Yeah,
it was a while.
All right, Ryan, where can they find you?
Sweet Tea Productions on YouTube and just Ryan Tierney.
Sweet. You can find me at Kerley Studios, Kerley Studios, and that's it for you guys. Love you. Thank you so much. Peace out.
Bye.
Later.